Hello and welcome to this review of Abita Light. This is the old recipe. I don't know when the new, I got to get my opener. I don't know when the new recipe was introduced, sometime in 2019, I think. Okay, so hey man, here's the Abita Light that I was familiar with, the old recipe. Well, they had changed the label and it showed people walking down not Bourbon Street, maybe Royal Street in New Orleans, and people playing horns. It's a light lager, but they're always showing New Orleans scenes, even though Abita Springs is not close to New Orleans, not really. Maybe 40 miles. Okay. Abita Brewing Light Lager is the new one. It's a plain label. Just a white label. Got light, Abita Light in blue, and then lager in red. But look, it's 95 calories and 2.6 carbs and 4.1%. Yeah, you know what they're going after. What? You know. I don't even have to say. 100% barley, spring water. Best by April 4th of 2020. Well, this is only January 3rd. 28th. Thought it was 30th. Okay, 28th. That's right. The 30th is Thursday. Okay, well, whatever. So I bought this one at Martin Wine Cellar. I was at Martin Wine Cellar, okay, and I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the original, or the, may not even be the original, but the one that they had previous, Abita Light, 118 calories, 4.0, and compare it to the new 4.1, 95 calories. So I bought it. And then I'm looking at the label, best by May 4th, 2019. Well, I was hot when I saw that. And I was talking to John and Nearly and them, and I was saying, this is why I get so angry with this distribution stuff and all these regulations. I mean, I was going off. But let's do this first before I start screaming and hollering. I'm going to read the sell sheet from this on off of Rapier. Abita Light. Put the link to Abita down below so you can see about the new one. Abita Light is uniquely handcrafted using 100% all natural ingredients. Malted barley, the finest hops, German lager yeast, and pristine Abita Springs water. The result is the smoothest, most flavorful light beer you will ever taste. That's a bold statement, huh? The smoothest, most flavorful light beer you'll ever taste. But they must have not been too happy with it since they discontinued and replaced it. All right, maybe it's more. Maybe the new one's more smoother and more flavorful, though. Here's what they say on the website for the new one, Abita.com. It's easy to look up. It's like they're trying to copy the Sam Adams Light. I don't know why they came up with such a plain label. It doesn't look bad, but I don't know, whatever. I don't care. It's fine. Our light is brewed for adventure and your light style. Our beer is an all malt lager brewed with Pilsner and Carapils malts and Vanguard hops. Crisp and refreshing, it has only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs and goes great with almost anything. This brew goes down easy while hanging with friends at a crawfish or shrimp boil, after a run, or cutting the grass. Okie doke. Tradition hops. But above they say Vanguard hops. Is Vanguard hops the same as tradition hops? 6 IBUs. Well, okay, so that's later. I'll do that. Oh, you'll see it in 2 weeks, maybe. Okay, I'm still backlogged on videos, which is a good thing. All right, so here's this old one, and I mean old. I don't just mean the former label. I mean, it's from Best Buy, May of last year. This is inexcusable. All right. So I talk about these things all the time. So here it is, cloudy and golden and still bubbly, I guess. I fuss so often about the 3-tier system and beer regulations and all this. And this justifies what I'm saying. Smells malty and sweet. Grain, barley grain. It smells good, actually. It has a rich aroma, actually. Might be a little stale, though, but I probably wouldn't be mentioning that if I didn't know the date. So you get bread, white bread crust. Hop bitterness? Nah, you do not. It's actually a medium bodied. Well, it's 118 calories. 118 is kind of iffy on if it's really light. 118 calories, light beer. 4% alcohol. That would work in the United States, not in Australia. Over there, a light beer is like 2.8%. It's all based on the ABV. Over here, it's not. It's based on the calorie count. But I remember they had Southpaw Light. Remember that one from Plank Road Brewing? It was like 137 calories. I said, well, what was light about that? I never got to try it. Every time, and when I went to buy it, it was discontinued. It's a pretty crisp finish. It's got a little sting to it for some reason. Hello, Ronald. Hey, Mr. Tank. Now I got to get this. Hold on a second. Hello. And now I'm doing a hangout video, but I won't be long. Are you going to be around? I'll call you soon. Okay. All right. Bye. She called me. I had to get off the phone because people were talking to me, and then I called her, and she wasn't there. Now I got to call her back. All right. That's another story. I'm not going to go long on this. I'm just saying this is fine. If you find reasonably, how can you find fresh? There might be bottles of this beer that says Best Buy February of 2020. Well, if this out of date tasting is any indication, then yeah, buy it, because I'm tasting something that's going on a year old and tastes fine. But Mr. Tank, that's not the point. Nice little sting. I think this one must have had higher IBUs. There's no way this could have that much hop action with 6 IBUs. It's really I can't wait to try a new one. It must really be changed. But I go to the store and I buy a beer. You know, I know what people are going to say. Check the dates. Check the dates. Well, first of all, you're in these stores. It's hard to see these dates sometimes. And this is gold on brown, at least. Lagunitas puts black on brown. They put black ink on brown. You can hardly ever see it. But you're going in the store, you're buying stuff. You're not always thinking like, I got to check every day. Got to check every day. You figure the store is going to check. Wrong. They're not. You say, well, a 3-tier system protects us because that's what they tell us. Wrong. They don't. How come I go all over the place and out-of-date beers, out-of-date beers, out-of-date, out-of-date? And I mean, some are woefully out of date. Like, here's an example. Eric. Hi, Ronald. Cool hat. Yeah, we haven't gotten this beer in Louisiana since like 1991. At our local supermarkets, a 24-pack of hams is $15. That's an okay price, I guess. But with beers like that, like regular old beers, I always look at the price. And if I can get Keystone Ice for $15.98 a 30-pack, then I have to use that framework, that reference point for Louisiana. I can't speak for other states. No, we don't. I'm talking about this channel. I speak for myself. The opinions, the ideas and opinions expressed here do necessarily represent the opinions of Louisiana Beer Reviews, because I'm only one person on the channel. And I say we need to get rid of the 3-tier system. But of course, you let states decide that. I'm not saying there should be a national solution to local problems. Each state should make their own internal regulations. I always say that, and I always will say that. Okay. But the three-tier system is in other states like Pennsylvania have a little strange system, but it's terrible. There should be no regulations like that. If Abita wants to have its own bars, not brew pubs, I mean an actual bar called Abita Ballroom, Abita Lounge in different towns, and sell their beer directly from their brewery, no problem. We don't need a distributor. If Abita wants to sell their beer directly to a store without a middleman, no problem. Let them do it. But you see, the distributors around the United States have a lot of influence on the state legislators, and they contribute a lot of money to their reelection campaigns. So they're not going to get rid of it. You see? So, but now you might say, well, I have a state senator and a state representative, and they're a liberal Democrat. Okay, so all right, so they're not going to want to get rid of regulations because that's what they thrive on. They're always talking about more regulations, right? I watch these presidential candidates. More regulation, more regulation. Okay, fine. You're probably wasting your time with them. But you can still send them an email, but for what it's worth. But let's say you got some Republican legislators representing your district, you know, and that party claims they're all for deregulation and free enterprise. Well, you got to call them on that. You say, hold on. You say you're for free enterprise and, well, a lot of times they'll say capitalism, which is not the same as free enterprise. You can be a capitalist communist. You have to use the means of production. You have to use capital. So you got to watch those terms. But you can kind of pin these Republicans down. You say, hey, you believe in free enterprise? Oh, yes, sir. You say, oh, okay. I see you sitting at this barbecue for your fundraising. You're drinking beers with some people. Oh, yeah, my friend. I love to knock back beers with the fellas. I'm a regular old guy like you. Oh, and that's good. You say, you got to bait them. You say, that's good. So do you support free enterprise? Yes. Do you want to have deregulation? We need deregulation. We need to deregulate this economy and free it up so the people can be in control and the businesses can be in control. And our president, Trump, says the same thing. Okay, well, then if that's the case, then I will assume, by using logic, that you would support the dismantling of the three-tier system where there's no distributors. We don't need them. Because they claim they protect the product and check dates and ensure freshness. No, and they ensure consumer safety. I don't know how they ensure that. Like, how would somebody buying beer from a brewer and selling it to a grocery store or a convenience store, how would that ensure my safety? How would that ensure your safety? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. I have gotten into it with distributors, people that work for distributors, and they get angry. I said, of course you're going to get angry because your job is part of this construct, this government protected quasi-monopoly is what it is. So of course, I told them to their face, of course, not in an angry way, and they didn't get angry. I said, but of course you're going to say that because it's your job. But I'm saying that their job is redundant and it's not favorable towards us. We would have lower beer prices if we don't have the middleman. I mean, theoretically, at least. Okay, you say, you don't know that. No, I don't know it because it hasn't happened. All right. People that like regulations will always say that. They'll say, and sometimes they'll say things like, we tried free enterprise and it didn't work. When did we try that? I always tell them that. When did we try that? And then they'll mention something about, oh, in the 1800s. I said, no, well, they had regulations then, and a lot of them. So, yeah, we used to not have antitrust laws until the Sherman Act of 1890. That's true. And prices were actually lower then in real dollars. So that argument falls flat. Like they'll say, well, it was only Standard Oil. One big oil company controlled 95% of the oil and gas, you know, the gasoline and oil. Yeah, but it was cheap. and they always conspiracy theorists, regulators, progressives, whatever, they always promote conspiracy theories. Like they'll say, oh, well, the big companies just want to have control so they can jack the prices up. Well, you're assuming that, but you can't really demonstrate that, because like I said, when there was oil under control of Standard Oil, it was cheap, and they weren't trying to run anybody out of business because they already controlled 95% of the oil industry. Now, would a company like them try to increase regulations? Well, of course they would, because they want to squeeze competition out. So a lot of big companies want regulation. The three-tier system wants regulations, because then the only people that can afford to comply with it. You look at the Meat Inspection Act. Armour, Swift, and Hormel, who still largely control the meat industry, wanted regulation, not because of safety, to make you safe so you don't die eating meat. No, so that the little meat companies can't compete, and then now they don't even exist. So we said it before, we're saying it now, and we're going to say it forever in the future. We want the three-tier system destroyed. Not in a malicious way, because you don't have to actually destroy it. You simply what? Repeal the laws which support it. And what laws are those? Laws that tell you you cannot sell. See, these are laws that tell you what you can't do. You can't sell beer directly to the public. You can't have, what do they call them, attached houses or whatever. They have them in England because they don't have those kind of regulation. Like, do you know in England they have beer companies that have their own taverns, their own pubs. They only sell like their brands there. Now, did the people running around, did they run around England saying, oh, we need regulation? No, they don't say that. They have so many regulations for other aspects of life. No, if they don't like that brand of beer, then guess what? They don't go there. They say, oh, bugger that. I don't like Boddington's pub ale. It stinks. I hate it, old chap. Let's go traipsing down the boulevard in this Mario town and go and drink at the Guinness Tavern, whatever they say there, Jolly Ho, and pip hip, and let's knock a few back, old boy. How many people in England you think walk around saying, oh, don't you wish the government would make it illegal for bars to be owned by beer companies? How many people in England say that every day? You guessed right. Nobody. Exactly 0% of the population says that every day, and has always said that. You say, there's a few people that want to have distributorships in England, and they're saying, oh, whoa, we want the government to. Well, yeah, because you always want to create a crisis. And the crisis we had was prohibition. So when they got rid of prohibition, they didn't really get rid of it. They got rid of much of it. It went from total regulation to less. But see, here on this channel, we want even less, even less, even less, even less, even less. Then, if you go to a store and it's out of date, who do you blame? You won't have a distributor to blame. You can blame either the brewery or the store, because it would obviously be either one of their fault, right? It would either be the brewer's fault by not checking dates, because maybe they had a contract with the store chain to check dates, or it'd be the store's fault because they bought the beer with no contract stating that they would check dates, and they failed to do it. And there's your answer. And then, of course, you can blame yourself for not checking dates. All right. Anyway, so thanks for watching this video. This is a very good beer, even though it's woefully out of date, and that's why I'm ranting and raving about it. Old Style is good beer. I like Old Style, and I like this one even more, the Old Style Oktoberfest beer, which someone sent me. I can't remember who it was, which we cannot, by in our wildest dreams, get in Louisiana. But I like the Old Style. Oh, I'm sorry, the Heileman's. That's Heileman's Old Style. I like the Heileman's Special Export, which we surely can't get. You can hardly get it anywhere in the whole United States. All right, so I'm gonna call this a lady back. So thanks for watching this video production. Cool. Any advice for the hangover jitters? Says Jim. I really don't know anything about hangovers. I talk to people at work. They always have these ideas about what do they say? Drink pickle juice or something. I don't know. I never drank enough to have to worry about it, honestly. I mean, I honestly, I can't tell you. I don't know. Maybe eat some cream of mushroom soup or something. All right. Thanks for watching this video production.